My daughter, who's 10, was starting like a gymnastics class, and she was up at night crying. I'm like, what's up? She's like, oh, well, it's new, and these new people, they're all gonna laugh at me. They're gonna think I'm stupid and dumb. I'm like, guess what? Adults do the same shit.
How many of you guys know social's important?
But you fucking chicken out and don't do it? Yeah, it's just insecurity, it's all it is. I shoot a BombBomb video. Hey, Susie, this is Aaron. I just want to shoot a quick video, put a face to the name. Say thank you kindly for taking the time to speak with me. I know your time is very valuable. So as promised, we're gonna be sending you an email to this email address. And in that email, amongst other things, will be an updated market analysis that we'll be reviewing together as a team. So we can figure out strategically how to position the property to make sure we get top dollar. And I'll bring that with me. I'll also have with me the appropriate paperwork. So provided that it all makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident, we can take the next steps. So in the meantime, if you need to reach me, here's my personal cell, blankety blank. Otherwise, thanks for taking the time to speak with me. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. Bye-bye now. How many people send them that video? Nobody. Will that cause you to stand out? Yes. 100%. Because you're meeting them in a digital form. How many people have met me in the digital form before they met me in the physical form? 1, 2. Okay, here's what's interesting. She told me the story. Jeanette, told me the story. You realize I wouldn't be here if she didn't see me on TikTok? You know what she said? She was like, yeah, I needed a speaker. And I'm like, who's gonna speak? And she started flipping through TikTok. She saw me speak. She's like, that guy curses. I curse. That's awesome. But you guys are afraid to let people see you. And I know that there's somebody in this room who doesn't perhaps like me because I curse, and that's cool. That has more to do with them than it does me. But I'm fine with it because they're not my peeps. You see what I'm saying? Authenticity is the best form of advertising. So I send a BombBomb video. Then I would send the information to do the CMA to my team, who would actually do the CMA, not me. 3 actives, 3 closed, 1 pending. That's it. All your guys' charts and graphs and fucking price per square foot. It's a waste of time. You spend 2 hours doing it. And you still don't get it right. It's a waste of time. So 3 actives, 3 closed, 1 pending. We send it to the client with a, so there's 2 PDFs. One is a pre-listing package, not you holding your dog. Yeah, don't do that shit. Don't be like the cat lady, bro. Don't do that. So, hey, can you imagine your doctor on their business card, with their dog? Fair. If I see it, though. So, it has a pre-list package as a PDF and the comps that we're going to go over. Because if they're going to freak the fuck out, I want them to do that before I see them. Make sense? I'd much rather do it then and call me back and be like, bro, these comps, than when I got in a car, I'm going to take a listing, I'm going to take a listing, I'm going to take a listing. You do your affirmations, you get all dressed up, and then you get there and they're like this. You're like, I saw those comps, bro. You're fucking crazy. I'd rather them do that before I see them. Does that make sense? And then we call to confirm, right? The other thing we do is in the signature of our email. So how many people, when you need something, technology has trained us this way. So let's say you don't know what product or service to use. Do you pick up the phone and call somebody first in 2023? Nope. What do? You go to the internet. You Google it. And what do you look at? Reviews, videos, social profiles. Then you make a decision on who gets your money, correct? Why are you not doing this for yourself? I see agents have 300 people. It's like, what are you doing? 2 reviews. I'm like, you're a rock star, but I can't tell. You look like every fucking Joe Schmo. Right? We have 300 reviews on our Google reviews. Make sense? So what I would say in pre-qual, this is because it's all part of the sale. People think the listing presentation starts when I hit the door. No. It starts in pre-qual. It starts when I'm setting the appointment. But anyway, I would say, hey, in the email that I'm going to send you, in the signature of my email, there'll be a link to our website, which you can go and check out, put a face to the name. There'll also be a link to all of our personal reviews online. I have over 500 5-star reviews from clients just like you that we've helped from start to finish get the most in your area. So I encourage you to take a look at those in preparation for connecting, so that way you can get a feel and a flavor for the service and results we provide. Fair enough. Why am I saying that to them? That's how we've all been trained to make decisions about who gets your money. You realize, you're sitting with your significant other, you're like, where do you want to go to eat? I don't know. Where do you want to go to eat? I don't know. Right? After an hour of that shit, you go online, you go to Yelp, reviews and pictures, that's who gets $150. Ta-da!
And it's one more click.
Right. So that's part of that process. So it consists of the email, but then also pushing them to digital assets. And if you don't have digital assets, you really don't exist. You're like, you don't stand out in any way. So let's say me and you were going on a listing appointment, and I'm like, again, it's not comparison, like just for like example purposes. You call them and you're like, yep, I'm gonna come see you. They look you up online. You have 2 Google reviews. I push them to 500 reviews. Who do they immediately think knows what they're doing more? Whether that's true or not. Because check this out, if you're on Amazon, right? If there's a product, let's say one product has 150 5-star reviews, another one has 10,000. Which one are you gonna buy? Here's where it gets really interesting. Are you willing to pay an extra $5 for the one that has 10,000 reviews? Yes. That's perceived value. It's not even real. But that extra $5 could be like 20% more. Does that make sense? Good question. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns, observations, hallucinations, emotional overloads?
Overpriced listings.
Don't take them.
Yes. Right.
What's coming, like the reason why that is because you're not pre-qualifying. 2 things cause us to take overpriced listings. One is kind of coming from a place of scarcity instead of abundance. 2 is we don't understand what the word motivation means. If you break down the word motivation, it's motive to take action. It's a reason for doing something. So you're not asking questions like, hey, your home's lovely. If you don't mind me asking, was there any particular reason you were even considering selling it? What would happen out on the outside chance if we were still here 6 months from now and it didn't sell? They're like, I wouldn't give a shit. Nope. Yeah. Not interested. Right? If you're like, yeah, and let's say they're adamant, you're in pre-qual. So like, you know, you strike me to be someone who's super kind of, you know, on point. I'm sure you've been going online and look at some of these sites that give estimates of value. I used to say Zillow, but fuck those guys. So instead, what I'm going to say is like, I'm sure you've been to some of these sites that give estimates of value. So I'm wondering, did you have an idea at all of realistically what you were thinking in terms of price? Now, why do I say realistically? Everything after the word realistically has to be realistic. It's neurolinguistic programming. And they're like, well, I'm thinking like 1.7. And in your mind, you're like, God damn, like that's ridiculous. That's like 1.3 all day long. So then you ask them, you're like, well, let me ask you this. Let's say that we knew through no fault of your own or mine, which is a good way to deflect, through no fault of your own or mine, you know, the marketplace was showing us, like somewhere around like 1.3, 1.4 was more realistic based on what buyers and sellers have been agreeing. If that was the case, what do you think you would do? And if they're like, I'll just keep it. I'm like, great. May I make a suggestion? You should just keep it. I appreciate your time. Make it a great day. And then you MTFO. Okay, do you know, anybody know what MTFO is? Move the fuck on. Let's move on. Yeah, so what I would do is like, let's say you did in a moment of weakness. No, you knew better. Because here's the deal. You guys know when you do that shit. You know in your heart, there's like, this shit isn't going to sell. But you just want to go back to all your friends and be like, I got $1 million listing. But you know it's not going to sell. And I had a coach one time, he was like, hey, are you a collector? I said, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, do you collect listings? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, what's the purpose of a listing? I'm like, to sell it. Oh, you see what I'm saying? That's the measure. So let's say in a moment of weakness, you took that listing, I would have a come to Jesus talk with him. And I'd say like, hey, you know, what I'm aware of is we've been on the marketplace for like 30 days. And I wanted to give you a quick update just to let you know where we're at. And I also wanted to provide you with a few options that we have at our disposal. So that way you can decide what you feel is best. And whatever you decide, I'll support you. Fair enough?
Amen.
Yeah, so it's been, you know, 30 days. And in that time frame, we've had 1 showing. Were you aware of that? Like, yeah, well, can you put it in the Wall Street Journal? You know, that kind of shit. And you're like, well, I appreciate where you're coming from and asking that. And, you know, it sounds like you just want to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to get the home sold. And what I can share with you, I know you don't follow me around every day, we're doing the exact same things that have helped us to sell X amount of dollars worth of real estate this year, or sell X amount of units this year, if that's impressive. So I know that that works. That's really not it. When a home's not selling, there's a few reasons why, and I'd like to share them with you. Would that be okay? Yeah. So the first is the condition of the property. Now you tell me, do you feel like your home is not in good condition? And what are they all going to say? Even if it's a piece of shit.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's fantastic. Right? I got that 2010 kitchen. It's dope. So of course they're going to be like, it's fantastic. Whatever they say, you're like, yeah, I agree with you. It's not the condition. Right? Now, the second issue is perhaps maybe I'm not doing my job. Maybe I'm just dropping the ball. Now, why am I saying that to them? Because they are. So I'm just going to be like, take off all the clothes. Let's do it. Right? Maybe I'm not doing my job. Maybe I'm dropping the ball. Now, again, I know you don't follow me around every day, but we're doing the exact same things that we've done. So I know that that's not it. And the third reason is the price. Now, when we originally connected, you were kind enough to share with me that the main reason you want to sell was blank, blank, blank. So with that being the case, and with the amount of showings that we've had, I did an updated market analysis, and I'd like to review it with you. And again, I want you to be clear. Sometimes when I review this information with people, they misinterpret it as though I'm not on their team. But you see, I respect you enough, and I appreciate the opportunity to be of assistance, that I'm going to tell you the truth, even if sometimes you don't like it. So the last closed sale, I don't know if did you see that one off 1265 Plum? Like, yeah, I saw it, but like their kitchen's not as nice as mine, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I appreciate that. They sold for 1.3. Did you know that? Now let me ask you this. If you were a buyer, not a seller, because I know those hats are different. If you were going to buy this place all over again, and you knew that one sold for 1.3, honestly, where do you think you feel comfortable making an offer that you believe would be reflective of fair market value? Now, who's telling them? They're telling me. Now, when they're confronted with like that, polite confrontation, one of two things are going to happen. They're either going to say something reasonable, probably 1.3, or they won't admit it. They'll be like, well, I see what you're saying. Right? They won't admit it. They're either going to do that, or they're going to get unreasonable. I don't care what the fucking comps are. Now you know you're dealing with somebody who's not connected with reality. Right? So if they're like, well, yeah, I get, or they're going to hem and haw. They're going to try to change the subject. They're going to talk about something else. And what they're doing right in front of you is going in denial. In the Bible, it says we would prefer to be lied to than to be told the truth. That is true. The truth will set you free, but at first it will piss you off. Right? So if they say like either one of the, let's say they say like, well, yeah, but like mine's nicer. It's like, yeah, I appreciate that. I guess I'm wondering though, if you were a buyer, honestly, do you think you would offer $400,000 more than the last closed sale? So we're in agreement that the marketplace is showing us around 1.3 seems to be reasonable. Do you see what just happened there? Who showed us?
The market.
The market, not me, because you guys own the price. And then they're like, but you told me, you promised we can do it. And then you back yourself into a corner when you go to ask them for a reduction. So they're like, well, yeah, we're in agreement. The marketplace is showing us like 1.3. So we have a couple options. Whatever you decide is fine. One option is we keep the price the same, and more likely than not, we're going to get the same result. That's not me being negative, it's just an accurate assessment. Very few showings, no offers. The second option, and it's a drastic option, but I want to make sure we talk about it, is we take it off the market. Okay? It's fine. We'll revisit it another time. The third option is we lower the price. And in doing so, we'll dramatically increase the probability we can get you an offer that's acceptable based on what you're looking to accomplish and why, based on the time frame you'd like to make this happen in. What do you think we should do? Let them decide. But be totally okay with them taking it off. Yeah, I'm not going to drive to you to go do this. Does your doctor come and drive to you? No. I'm going to do it over the phone. It's way more efficient. Yeah, last one. We'll be here all day. Let's go.
Do you wait for your place to price?
3 weeks. 3 weeks is more than enough time. 30 days is too long. Too long. 3 weeks. I start prepping them at 2 weeks, and then I ask at 3. All right, guys. Well, listen, this has been an enjoyable use of my non-refundable precious breaths. I hope it has been for you as well. You can find me at Aaron Novello on all channels, Instagram, TikTok. If I could be of service or helpful to you guys, just let me know. Appreciate you.
A huge round of applause to Aaron Novello.
Grown ups, in between, churning babies.